Ah, I did it a little early. Hi, friends. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Whoops. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday prototype motor testing edition, sort of. We're also going to be farting around with what I'm putting over here, which is the quest for the perfect sub-250 gram DJI Vista carrying chase rig. Footage at the beginning of the stream there was some weird random wildfires in Florida a few months ago when I was there that I just threw a rig up in the air to kind of take a look at. It was me just kind of exploring. It wasn't really like, ooh, let's get cinematic FPV footage of the fire. It was more just, you know, let's check this out and see what's what. In the chat, Bob Bruce, Flush FPV, Metal Dirtskin, Michael D, Titan, McMucus, Mr. Huggy, Wes M, and Malchite of Methuselah, and Tommy Newton. What's up, friends? If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all I got to do is type CiottiFPV. Can't even see it, it's below my face, but there it is. That's what it looks like when you type CiottiFPV. This is my full-time job. If you'd like to support me on this crazy, difficult adventure that is full-time FPV, head on over to CiottiFPV.com, CiottiFPV.com, and all these things help me out. Patreon helps me out the most. We've had one new patron every single live stream for the past couple of weeks, so who's it going to be tonight? Or this afternoon, when people are rewatching the stream. Don't feel like if you can't catch these streams live, you can't be a part of the jam, yo. You can leave comments, and I read all the comments, so I'll get back to you for sure. I might even feature it on the next show. You can join the Discord, say hey in there. So yeah, and to get full access to the Discord, you do have to join the Patreon for 10 whole pennies a day. So yeah, do that, and I'll keep doing this, and we can, you know, do it all together. Manjaro Black says a new episode of Ted Lasso is out. I haven't watched Ted Lasso. Should I be? Is that something I should be watching? I'm starting to get these parts confused between these two. So the two rigs that I'm fiddling with down below are the, that's backwards for you, are the AOS 25, Cine 25, and the AOS Cine 35. There are no weights on either one of these on Chris's website or on CNC Madness's website. I've asked Chris a couple of times to take care of that, and I think maybe he might be this time. So hopefully we'll get some weights sooner than later. But I'm going to give you guys some weights here tonight because I've got them now. And yeah, so here's what I'm trying to do with one of these two. Look at the size difference. My God. This is the size difference between 3.5 and 2.5. Kind of crazy. To be honest, I really wish that Chris made this frame in 30. I really wish there was a Cine 30. I think the 25 is a little bit too small, and the 35 is actually a little bit too big. But I've got another box here from FPV Cycle with the Tooth Fairy 2 prop guards on it. And these, you know, I don't know. Initially, I thought these were, so on the website, on FPV Cycle's website, it says that these are for, that you have to run the 3.5-inch arms to clear these. And so I assumed that meant that you could then run a 3-inch prop. That's kind of how it is. When there's ducts involved, if you've got an arm that'll clear a 3-inch prop and then you run a duct on it, the duct will basically be 3 inches and then the prop will be 2.5 inches. So I assume that this was the same, but now that I have these, that is not the case. It looks like these will clear, and I'm just kind of comparing it to the AOS 35. It looks like these will clear a 3.5-inch propeller. So yeah, I'm not gonna have a rig here that runs 3. I mean, I could certainly run 3-inch props on the 3.5-inch arms, you know, but I would rather not do that. I think that the best possible chase rig for Sub250 with a Vista is with a 3-inch prop. I think it can get done with a 3-inch propeller. I could totally be wrong, but and that might just be wishful thinking. Now that I've held this AOS 35 in my hands, especially compared to the 25, I can't imagine that I'm going to be able to get this under 250. I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best. The secret weapon to that build, to keeping the weight down, is going to be small motors and a 3.5-inch bi-blade propeller. So yeah, we'll see. I'm super interested to see what that comes in at. We're going to weigh all these in a little bit here. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I got extra top and bottom plates for both of these, so that, you know, if I break them, I can fix them, and I just slide these right in my bag. Yeah, I've got 4 more of these cycling gigs this year. So getting this platform like really dialed in is going to be super fun, and there's going to be a bunch of content around it. All that being said, there's nothing wrong with this guy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this QAV Cine that I flew at the Miami Beach event. This worked really well. I'm just trying to kind of refine it and also like have a backup. You know, like I bring the Cinewhoops with me to get B-roll and stuff, you know, not flying above the riders. And if I absolutely have to, I can pull the ducts off of the Cinewhoop and like if this goes down, I can pull the ducts off of the Cinewhoop. But that's super sketchy, and like I really don't want to do that, right? Like they're going to be over 250, And so, yeah, it's not good. So I have to have at least one backup for this. God forbid this thing shits the bed at some point. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. That is primarily what the AOS Cine 25 is going to be. This is the first one that I'm going to build because this is going to be, you know, the rig that does pretty much what this guy does. That's actually interesting. Look at that size. Look at the size difference here. I'll put them on top of one another. The AOS Cine 25 is almost identical. I mean, not super surprising, but yeah. So that's what's going on, and then I'm not gonna really start these builds tonight. I don't think. Maybe I'll just start screwing some of the standoffs in while I'm getting caught up on chat. But the big thing we're gonna do tonight is continue the testing of these prototype motors that Jesse from Tiny Whoop was cool enough to send me. We've got a set of 0603 30,000 kV prototypes, and then we've got a set of 0702 mystery kV prototypes. And yeah, we're just going to keep flying these things to hopefully put enough batteries through them to really say, like, the two main things that I'm trying to figure out here are the 603 30,000s as good as the 802 30,000s. That's what these two guys have on them. This was the testing that we did towards the end of Monday night's stream. These two rigs are almost completely identical, and yeah, I don't think that I can feel a difference, which is amazing, because what that means is that the 603 is a lighter motor that can make the same power as the EX 802 30,000. And it's going to make the same power while being more durable because it's lighter, but also because it's the full can motor design. These Hex or EX 802s are a single piece bell that's been really lightened up, and it's sacrificed a little bit of durability. So if we can get basically the same power, or if we can even get close to the EX 802 power from these 603s, that's a really, really, really big deal. Because, yeah, to get full durability with these 802s, you have to do the full can ones, and those are significantly heavier. So, yeah, these 603s on the surface seem to be magic, and I think they have the potential to maybe replace the 802s on 65 millimeter rigs. I'm starting to feel the 802s are still going to have a home on the 75 millimeter rigs when you're running 1.6 inch bi-blades. So yeah, 802s aren't going anywhere. But yeah, this is a little exciting. This is an exciting part of kind of refining the motors on these Tiny Whoops. You know, the brushless motors came out, I don't know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And there really wasn't much refinement done because we were stuck at a very low kV. We were stuck down at 18,000 kV and 20,000 kV, eventually 22,000 kV. I'll never forget when the Happy Model 25,000 kV 802s came out. And it was just like, it was a big deal because it was the first time that these Tiny Whoops had some momentum and they had enough power to fling themselves up in the air. Over the last year, it's really gone completely nutso in terms of these Tiny Whoop motors, and the performance is just absurd now, and I love that, man. Like, the shit that we can do with these Tiny Whoops is hysterical. I've also got the WeBleed FPV LED quad gate set up over there, so you guys will get to check that out again tonight. It's very, very, very cool. Let me get caught up on chat here now that it's loaded up a little bit. Here again is my website, CiottiFPV.com. This is how you can help me keep on doing these live streams 4 or 5 times a week. Patreon helps me out the most. Over on Etsy, you can buy yourself something nice. Over on Fiverr, you can work with me one-on-one. Take advantage of the 6+ years of blood, sweat, and tears I've put into this, and I'll help you stop buying stuff that catches on fire or learn how to tune or fly better. Teespring, again, buy yourself something nice. PayPal if you want to support me directly, but you don't want YouTube to take 30%. And then I've got a whole bunch of these affiliate links. Every time you're buying something on the internet, somebody probably has an affiliate link. Hook them up and see if you can hit it before you check out. I've got affiliate links to WeBleed, Newbie Drone, FPV Cycle, Amazon, GetFPV, Oh My God, HD0, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Brother, AliExpress. So yeah, that's how you support me if you like this and you want to see it continue, because I am completely supported by you beautiful people. So yeah, do something if you don't mind, if you have a second. Bob Bruce tagged me and said, how's it going, Gangles? Michael D said, hello, CiottiFPV and Gangly Gang. The answer to the question, Bob, is I'm exhausted, man. This has been a tiring week. But I'm here. I'm happy to be here, hanging out with my friends. And, yeah, man. Let's make some magic happen. Why you gotta make it weird, yo? So I'm just gonna start throwing screws into this AOS Cine 25 because it'll make weighing it a little bit easier while I'm reading chat. So yeah, that's, if you see me manipulating things below the camera, that's what I'm manipulating. It's a weird word to use. It looks like in the little hardware pack here, there are some long button head screws. I'm going to assume that those go through the arms. And then there are a whole bunch of regular socket-headed screws, which appear to be M2 by 7, would be my guess. And there are many, many, many more of those. So I'm assuming that those are all these outer standoff screws. So that's what I'm going to be kind of just putting on here while getting caught up. There are two different styles of standoff in here, which is going to drive me absolutely insane. Not the end of the world, but I don't love it. Oh, you fart bag. Where'd that go? Where'd that go? What? Okay, what? There it is. Yeah, there's like a more deeply... you guys have seen these. You guys have seen both of these standoffs before, even if it doesn't... Even if this camera absolutely refuses to focus. Yeah, I mean, no big deal. But this is going to drive me nuts. What's the first one that I put on? The first one that I put on is the more deeply cut standoff. Tommy Newton says, yo, CiottiFPV, how you be? I'm alright. Just tired. Rockcrawler FPV says, hey, CiottiFPV and everyone. I did my taxes tomorrow. I did my taxes yesterday. And, I must have done something wrong last year, because I owed like $1,300 last year for 2021. And this year I only owed $340. I did realize that last year I didn't put anything into the MISC field, which is kind of weird. And I yeah. So I think that was the difference. But hey, man, all's well that ends well. Glad that this year wasn't as bad as last year. And what that means is I do have some. I was assuming that I was gonna have to pay $1,000+ like I did last year. But since I didn't, I do have some money left over for the walk snail goggles. So yeah, I'm gonna be ordering those up, which will be super cool. We'll get that walk snail 75mm build going. And chase some drift cars with it. So that'll be super fun. I'm really, really, really excited about that. I got a couple people interested in my HD0 stuff. I need to get back to them. I need to look at who messaged me first and then get back to them. So if that's you, I apologize. I haven't gotten back to you yet. I've just been crazy busy with between the Miami Beach cycling event and my birthday and all kinds of stuff going on. So I appreciate your patience. I think it was Michael D and somebody else. So yeah, I gotta get back to you guys. I have 4 messages on Discord that I need to get back to you guys on. So Also, Maggie got me DayZ for my birthday for PS4, and I've been playing that a little bit. What a fucking difficult game! Good lord. It's a zombie survival game, and it's just really hard. It's just a really hard game, and but yeah, I dig it. I dig difficult games like that. That's why I like racing sims, because they're incredibly difficult and it makes you really work for it. So yeah, that's been kind of fun. Still trying to figure it out. I'm pretty terrible at video games as it is. I don't know what happened. I feel like when I was a kid I wasn't terrible at them. So I've got all these in. Now it looks like I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 more standoffs. My assumption is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then maybe they just give you 2 extras. Let's take a look. AOS Cine 25 frame. And we'll take a look on Chris's website, AOS-RC. Yeah, okay. So there's the rear 2. Center middle, center rear, center front, and then front. So yeah, it looks like they just give you 2 extra standoffs. That's pretty cool. Look at this nice little... This is really nice. This is really nice that this exists. Okay. Oh yeah, and now this shows the those longer... Are there 2 different lengths? That makes it seem like there's 2 different lengths of button head, but I don't think they're... Oh, no, I'm looking at standoff. Yeah, M2 by 10 button heads go up on top of this little base plate here. And then... Okay, yeah, this should say M2 by 6 socket head. They're including socket heads, so that makes sense. Oh, here's the extra front standoffs. Oh, okay. So 2 of these standoffs should be shorter. What? Hold on. The front camera plates go on like this, and then oh, nope, that's upside down. Here it goes. Okay, so the front camera plates go on like that, and then yeah, that should be a shorter standoff, but it looks like they sent me all the same length standoff, which I gotta be honest, might be a problem, because these are M2 standoffs, which are kind of, yeah, M2 by 23. Oh, okay, 23. All right, so the difference is 23 versus 25. So I might have put those 23 mil standoffs on this frame already. Hold on, let me take a look. 25, 25, 25, 25, 25. Oh, man, no. They just didn't send the 23 millimeter standoffs. Oh, man, come on, really? Alright, well, I can't build this all the way. That's kind of frustrating. Although, man, this does not look like a 23 mil standoff. I guess maybe it is. Oh, wait a second. Okay, so this is a different version. This is a different version than what's on the screen. On this, I think they sent me like an older version. Or are these the wrong standoffs? Man, I'm dropping shit now. What's happening? What is going on? Where is it? Here it is. Stop it. Did I get the vertical camera plates mixed up? No, I didn't. I did not. I think they might have sent me an older version of this, because I remember there was an update to this frame where they drilled they drilled this top and bottom out, and then you put these shorter standoffs in here, and that is not what I have here. The frame that I got sent, these camera plates do not have those front holes, which if I was gonna bash this thing, I would kind of be a little annoyed by, but I'm not gonna bash this thing, so it's probably fine. And that would explain why it did not come with 23mm M2 standoffs. Maybe they can't get those M2 23mm standoffs anymore, so that's why they went back to the non-extra hold front bit. But yeah, no big deal. No big deal there. You can print ducts for it, which is very cool. Versatile camera mounting. I'm pretty excited about this. The Cine 25 is great. I think this frame, though, if you look at this frame here, right, and think about like the amount of thrust that's being blocked above and below the propeller, the only thrust that's being blocked is from these little A-arms here, right? And then if you look at the QAV Cine, it's actually got 3. See if I can get it to catch the light. There you go. So there are 3 blockers of thrust. And like, I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but that's 50% more stuff getting in the way of thrust. And the big thing that I'm going for with these rigs is efficiency. I want to be able to get as many passes as possible chasing these cyclists before I can come back in and swap batteries, because in order to stay sub 250, I have to run fairly small batteries on this. So that's one of the big things that I'm excited for with the AOS Cine 25. I was really hoping to be able to get for the 35 to be just the efficiency master with the 3.5-inch biblades. But I have a funny feeling that it's going to be so much heavier that it's really not, it's not going to be any more efficient because of the extra weight. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess. I don't know if we'll actually see. But because I have a feeling that it's going to be over 250 without a battery on it. And that's just, like, you just can't do that. You know, like, if you're a little bit over 250 with a battery, you can just carry around a lighter weight battery. And, like, God forbid something happens, like, oh, hey, this is the battery I was flying. If the whole entire thing is above, you know, like, you can't do that if the whole thing is, if it's above 250 dry. So, yeah, I'm a little worried about the Cine 35. But I don't know. I'm kind of curious about the Cine 35 as a Cinewhoop anyway. So I'm not too disappointed in the in its fatness. All right, so let's put this AOS plate on here. So I assume, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Oh, this is the bottom plate. The AOS is the bottom plate. I'll be damned. Okay, interesting. I was thinking about this thing upside down. So how should I put it? I should put it like this so that when you hold it up, yeah, so that when you hold it up you can see it. Okay, so these outer standoffs, it looks like, oh, this is a pretty cool design. Yeah, this is neat. So the base plate is completely separate. And it just uses, okay, cool. This is, I was kind of worried about this. Like, I've heard that the AOS frames are kind of rough to, like, live with. Like, they're built, so, you know, Chris built these to kill vibrations. He didn't necessarily build them to be live-withable. And when I say live-withable, I mean, like, you crash it and you break it. How long does it take you to swap X or Y or Z out? And I'd heard that Chris's first run of AOS frames were a little tough with that, which makes sense, right? Like, we've talked about this before. When you make your first frame, like, it's very easy for the serviceability of that frame to go out the window because it's your first frame. Like, how would you know how serviceable it is? And then a bunch of people run it and you get feedback and then you kind of dial it in. This design here, though, there's a chance it's gonna be a little rough to service because the the electronics are inside. So in order to get at the electronics, you're going to have to take a lot of screws out. That being said, the AOS Cine 25 is the same way. The Cine 25, in order to get at the electronics, you have to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 per side. So that's 10, 11, 12. You have to remove 12 screws. On this one, same, to get at the electronics, it's actually more than that. You're going to have to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 screws. To get at the motors, you don't have to remove as many, which is kind of interesting. If this were like a freestyle build, that would be kind of nice. But it's not. So that doesn't necessarily help us. But, you know, these are cinematic builds. You really shouldn't need to be tearing them down very often, right? Like, builds that are tough to work on, that's most important with freestyle builds, right? So, yeah, you could make the argument that that kind of doesn't matter. My stance is, if I'm on a gig and the rig breaks and I decide that I want to fix the rig, I want it to be as quick of a fix as possible, and removing 18 screws is not that. You know, realistically, if you're doing gig stuff, you should have multiples. You should not be repairing rigs on site. You should be just throwing it in the trunk and grabbing the backup rig. But then I guess you could argue, like, what happens if the backup rig goes down? Well, in my opinion, you should actually have 3. There's a saying in videography and photography that 2 is 1 and 1 is none, meaning that, like, if you have 2 of something, it's basically the same as having 1 of something. And if you only have 1 of something, it's the same as having 0 of something. Mainly because things tend to... It's like an inside joke about things breaking at the worst possible time, which happens a lot. Those press nuts are on the bottom? Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Those press nuts are on the bottom. Did I get the press nuts right? I think I did. Yeah, press nuts are correct. Because that's going to pull. Okay, yep, I got this assembled right. So there's the main box section of the frame assembled. We've got, looks like 10 standoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 10 standoffs on the main box section. So this is where all the electronics are going to be housed. They're going to be housed right under the AOS logo. There are, there's a set of, where the hell are they? Where are the press nuts? There's a set of press nuts. 1, 2. Is that it? Why are there only 2 press nuts? Hold on. Wait, what? Why are there only 2? Oh, okay, there's... Interesting. There's 2 press nuts on the top plate here as well. Why are there only 2? What are the press nuts even there for? I gotta be honest, I'm kind of confused. So you can see here, look, there's only 2 press nuts here. What? What are these for? Let me take a closer look at this. It doesn't show anything linking up with these press nuts. What's the spacing on them? That's a good question. It looks like it's 25 by 25 spacing. No, it's bigger than that. What in the... Oh, it's the camera mount. 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 Yep. The press nuts are there for the camera mounting. And this is set, and that's okay. So that makes total sense. So this rig is set up so that you can run the camera mount on top in the front or on bottom in the rear. So the plate that says AOS on it is the bottom plate, and so they've got two press nuts here where the press nuts are inside, so you want to be pulling out with the screws, and that makes sense because this is where the camera mount is going to go, so you're going to have screws in the rear pulling out on it, and then the front screws for the camera mount here are going to be jacked into standoffs, which we're going to do in a minute here. Okay, cool. That makes a lot more sense now. So I forgot to put these camera mounts in. Let's take a quick look at that. And I also put the top plate on upside down. God damn it. Apart it comes. Let me take the other side apart. So yeah, I put the top plate on front to back, basically. And so now the slots for the camera mount are, there's 2 slots in the front, 2 slots in the rear. So yeah, there's that. Let's get caught up on chat here while I mindlessly unscrew screws. Rockcrawler says, hey, CiottiFPV and everyone. Wes W says it's pronounced Magyar. Also, those fires are slash and burn sugarcane farming. Interesting. I did not know that. Magyar. I'll try my best to. I mean, that's how it's pronounced. Or that's how it's spelled, rather. Manjaro Black says, I lost so many props this week, so I started flossing them. I'm still losing props. What else can I do? What? Started flossing them? What does that mean? I lost so many props this week, so I started flossing them. I'm still losing props. What else can I do? None of that makes any sense to me. How are you losing props? It might be a joke that I'm not getting. Yeah, I don't know why you would lose propellers in the first place. Mudderson says, I somehow have a ton of 3.5-inch Cinewoop props. Do you need some? I don't. I have like 2 or 3 sets of all of them. But does anybody in chat need 3.5-inch Cinewoop props? Which ones do you have, Metal? Denzel the Turbo says, hey, how's the B-Day hangover? There wasn't really much of a hangover because I've just all but given up on drinking. So, yeah. It's just this is just a weird week. Like the day after I wanted to do my taxes on my birthday, but it just didn't get done. And then just had a bunch of stuff come up. And then I was just like kind of worried about him because, yeah, death and taxes and all. And so, yeah, this has just been like a weird week, if I'm honest. Cheap Bastard FPV, that's a YouTube name I can get behind. Says, I'd like to replace some bushings on a couple old Bold Clash 703s. They have 1/2mm press washers instead of clips holding the shaft. Any suggestions on how to get the damn things off? Doesn't sound like you can get them off, although I don't... Press washers? I'm not totally sure what a press washer is, but from what you're saying, from the context of what you're saying, it sounds like if you get those press washers off, you're not going to be able to get them back on. That is totally speculation because I don't know what press washers are, but yeah. Why do you want to remove them? I'd like to replace some bushings. Why do you want to replace bushings? The bushings should last forever. It's bearings that some people will eventually wear out and need to replace. But bushings usually last forever. I guess unless you've put so many rotations on them that they're kind of wobbly. But man, that would take a lot of batteries to do that. Yeah, sorry, dude. I don't know what press washers are. But What am I doing? I'm putting it back together before I put the camera plates on it. Let's not do that. Okay, so camera plates go upwards on the... Well, you can't put them in there wrong. Okay, so that's good. All right, camera plate number 1 is in. And now we're going to do camera plate number 2. Now I put this top plate on upside down. One more time. There's little grooves in the top plate that I'm assuming line up with the camera plates. So yeah. Is it just me, or like do you guys also, like, when you get a frame, rush to put it together like this and like always put it together wrong? I don't like, to be honest, I think that's very okay, because in making those mistakes, it's going to stick out in your brain, and then you're going to remember how to put it together properly forever. There we go. Up front here, see the little dull parts that aren't shiny? Those are, oh, I can't think of the word. Those are routed out a little bit, and they almost certainly interface with these camera plates a little bit so that it'll sit perfectly flat on there. And it'll also make it stronger. That's a cool design. I gotta be honest, I'm down with that little design feature right there. That's pretty slick. Maybe that's why they got away from the extra... Oh, I know why I bet you they took those extra front standoffs. I bet you they got rid of these, this and this going through there and there, in order to work with the O3 air unit camera, because it's just gigantic. You know what I mean? I bet you that's the case. I bet you that's what's going on there. Northern Tier FPV with a $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, happy late birthday, was traveling Monday. Watch the stream. It was a fun one. Thank you so much for the support, Northern Tier. Very, very cool of you. Ramdango says, is a higher startup power for the higher KV a help? I wouldn't say so. I have not noticed it. I think it's more for helping ESCs that are really not up to the task. I don't really think it's a motor thing. Can you guys hear Duke? He's freaking out. Freaking out up there. And Azalea just yelled at him, Duke! What else we got going on in chat here? Wes Magyar says, I don't know if it's just that I suck or what, but I can't power loop and do the stuff like you do with my stock Mobula7 ELRS. So there's probably a couple things going on there, Wes. The biggest thing is probably that you haven't been flying for 6+ years, if I'm completely honest. The shit that you guys see me do was not easy to like, yeah, it's taken thousands, literally thousands and thousands and thousands of batteries to get to the point that I'm at. So never forget that. Never, ever, ever forget that. I am absolutely not that great of a pilot. Like, there are so many pilots that are so much better than me, but I'm not bad. I'm better than most people that have been flying for a year or two. And so, yeah, if you haven't been flying for at least a couple of years, that's going to be the main thing. The other thing, though, that's not helping you out is the Mobula7 is a 75mm motor-to-motor rig, so that's going to be a lot heavier than what I fly, which is going to make your life difficult. Also, it doesn't have nearly enough power. The Mobula7 ELRS comes with 802 20,000 kV motors. 20,000 kV is way, way, way too low to be able to do the off-throttle momentum-based like stuff that you guys see me doing all the time. So yeah, those are the main problems there. So, you know, the thing that you can fix quickly is putting a higher kV motor onto it. Unfortunately, doing so is going to make it a lot harder to fly. So you can get a set of higher kV 802s from Tiny Whoop, and you can put them on there, but I would not recommend running them at like 100% motor limiting right off the bat, because you're probably going to get frustrated. You can, in the PID tab, you can just motor limit them down. So get like, get the 1.5 millimeter shaft ones. I think the snowblowers are the ones that are currently in stock. They're like 28,000 kV. That's going to be a lot. You want to run those on GemFan biblades. I finally have this thing put back together properly. You want to run those on the GemFan biblades, and yeah, that's about it. And just put the time in. You're just gonna have to put a lot of time in, because yeah, that's just sort of how it is. So how do these guys mount? Okay, taking a look at the drawing. So that goes, oh, okay, I see. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So the arms mount in an interesting way here. The arms are not symmetrical. The front just has a little roundy boy, and it's gonna hit on the front standoff. So this hole here, this screw is gonna come down through this part of this little base plate-ish thing, through the front part of the arm, and then through this hole here, which then jacks into a separate standoff here. The inside connection point is super interesting. It's got this extra little lip on it here. So the screw comes down through this base plate, through this part of the arm, through this hole here. Move it up a little bit for it. Through this hole here. And it looks like they put a little bit of extra material here to hopefully hit this screw here, to just kind of make it a little bit more, to just kind of like lock this arm in a little bit. You never want to have these arms so that they're just floating, only with the two screws holding them, because eventually with the motor on there, it's always vibrating. Eventually it's going to try to vibrate those holes. It's going to try to wallow out those holes to make these holes bigger, and then your arms vibrate. So it looks like they added a little bit of material in hopes of, the arm connecting up. Yep, that's exactly it. Connecting up with a screw head that you're going to put through here. So the screw head will butt up against the carbon fiber as like a third point of connection. So that as this thing wobbles, it's carbon on socket-headed screw here, in addition to the two screws that are going through here. So that's pretty slick. That's an interesting little design choice. I like that. So this is the point where, if I'm honest, this thing is going to get a little bit more difficult to build, but I think the easiest thing to get this going is going to be to mount these standoffs. So there's these 8 inner standoffs, and I should have probably mounted them already. I should have probably mounted them to the base before putting the top on, but I didn't. And it doesn't look like it's that bad, so let's just keep going here. I'm gonna put the screws through the base plate here. The base plate says AOS on it. I'm gonna fire the screws up through here to get this center section, like the middle of the school bus, if this were a school bus frame here. This center section of standoffs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, mounted up. And then we can send the screws down from the top. So that's what I'm going to do here. What else is going on in chat? Wes Magyar says, it just freaks out and I crash. Yeah, you need more power, brother. You need more power. But you probably also need a lot more stick time. There's no replacement for stick time. You can also try to run it props out. If they have it set up for props in, you might want to switch it to props out. The verdict is still kind of out on that, though. That may or may not actually help. So that is certainly not going to be a magical cure for what ails you. You're in a situation where you just need more RPM, which is the KV. Those 802 20,000s, yeah, they just don't have enough RPM to make good power. Metadirton says, nice. Girlfriend got a PS5 recently too, so we're playing both Last of Us games before diving into the TV show. Very cool. I started watching the TV show, and then when I realized it was going to be zombie horror, I was just like, nope. Don't need to create nightmares for myself for no reason. So yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was going to be a good show, but yeah, I mean, I also like don't really like the zombie genre if I'm completely honest, and that's okay because there's a million other genres out there. So there's a little bit of a gap between the top plate where the front camera mounts are and the standoff. Like they tell me I didn't put this thing together wrong again. No, I put it together right. You kind of can't put the standoffs on wrong. Is it that little routed out bit, maybe? Hold on. Let me take a really close look at this. There's the little routed out part. And is it sitting down in there? Wait, no. Or is the routed out part on the bottom? Routed out part is not on the bottom. It is on the top. And yeah, it's sitting in there. It's sitting in there. Maybe it just needs to get pulled down. Sometimes when there's the when there's slots in the carbon, the first time you put it together, you got to just crank the screws down to pull into those slots. Putting this screw on the wrong side. In order to get it to fully just kind of like lock in. So let me try that real quick. Let me put this screw. So now this has top and bottom screws. Let me just crank this down and see what happens. I think that's exactly what's going on. Because that just firm. Yep. Okay, I see it. Cool. Okay, so that's totally fine. So I need to now pull this top screw out because the base plate and the arms are gonna take up this space up here. So cool. We are good to go. This is a well-designed frame. I'm kind of digging this. There's some Chris did some really cool stuff that somebody sent me the regular AOS 35 a long time ago, the version 1 of it. And there were M1.5 and M1.3 screws, which really bothered me. And then there were some other things that I just didn't really love about it, and I don't know, I might have been a little hard on it, if I'm honest. But apparently that all got straightened out with the version 2 of the frame, and that's great. And I still have it, and I'm still meaning to build it. Because I want to do that build with plastic prop guards. To see if the plastic prop guards are any more efficient than this box frame. I think that the box frame is going to be the best because, like, when you look at this thing from the side and you think about, like, the wind coming in from the side to push this thing around, I mean, there's almost no blockage whatsoever, right? Whereas even with a thin prop guard, there's more of a vertical surface there. So I think these box-style frames are the way to go, but, I mean, you guys know me. I have to test everything 18 times. to be absolutely sure. So we'll do it. I'll do the AOS 35 build. I really wish there was a way to run folding props with no guards. I mean, I could just do that, but that is not. I don't know. You could the FAA's wording is, of course, as with all of their wordings, relatively vague, and it says like no externally rotating objects that could cause lacerations. So a folding prop is firmly in that gray area because it is an externally rotating thing, but with rounded off edges and the fact that that it folds if it ever gets hit, I really don't think that it would cause lacerations. What it would, my main problem with it though would be if I bump into a rider with that setup, that motor is going to stop spinning and the rig is going down. And I'm typically chasing the leader or the lead 2 or 3 riders. So if I go down, it's going down in front of the entire peloton, and if they don't see it, which they probably won't, it could be one of those biking accidents where 8,000 people go over the handlebars, and like, I'm not trying to have something like that be my fault, you know what I mean? So I feel way more comfortable with a frame that has full, it's more so than comfort, just I think I need to keep flying frames that are fully boxed in like this. And the prop guard might not even be good enough. If the prop guard is just barely where the prop is and the rig comes up and the motor stops, it's falling out of the air. These box frames, you know, they have, like, the propeller is roughly in the middle here, so if you bump anything, it's fine. It's not going to stop the propeller from spinning. So I don't know. I really feel like the box frames are the best way of doing this. C-Max says that diagram looks to be the DJI 03 version. Yeah, I mean, it says Cine25 03-1.png, but yeah, I don't know. Thanks again, Northern Tier, for the super chat. Freelojo says, not just you, CiottiFPV, but not always wrong the first time. LOL. Cold Front and Penguin says, what settings in Betaflight helps me glide close to the ground smoother? Glide? When you say glide, I'm going to assume that you just mean fly, because I don't know how the word... I don't know if... Yeah, I don't know of a way to glide close to the ground. It's an interesting question. When you say smoother, Cold Front and Penguin, are you talking about, is this a, be honest, is this a pilot problem or is this a quad problem? When you fly low to the ground, are you flying so low that you're getting into ground effect and the rig is wobbling around? Or are you saying that when you get low to the ground, you kind of bounce around, which is a piloting problem? Because the solution to those two are completely different. The solution to it being a piloting problem is throttle expo. The solution to it being ground effect and the quad vibrating around is PID and or PID sum related. So yeah, let me know what your what's going on, and then I can give you a proper answer to that. It's a really interesting question. Typically though, when you're, as long as you're not just hovering, if you're like moving forward, ground effect kind of spills rearward, and it's not usually a problem. So I think that this is a pilot issue. I think your throttle control is to blame. And that's not surprising. Throttle control is the most difficult thing to master with flying these, and it will take you years and years and years of actual effort to really dial it in. And when I say actual effort, what I mean is like not just go out and rip balls every single time, but like pay attention to it and do drills that that help you to practice it more effectively. All right, so I've got these arms on here. It's a bit fiddly, but I got them on. This one just fell out. So let me try to get this one back in here. There we go. And then I'm going to drop this down on top, and you guys can't see what I'm doing. Sorry. But I just dropped it down on top here, just like you see in the picture. I put the screws through this base plate thing, and then I hung the arms off of them, and then I just pushed the whole thing down. And I made sure to get the press nuts going forward, like you see in the picture, for the camera mount. And now I can just fire some of these screws down into the standoffs, and all's right with the world. So yeah, cold front and penguin, let me know, man. Let me know if this is a ground effect problem where the quad is wobbling around because you're flying low to the ground very, very slowly, or if it's an elevation bounce issue, which is just, yeah, throttle control related. Rock Crawler says, check Tommy Newton's post above. If that's not commitment, I don't know what is. Tommy Newton says, I'm watching from the hospital. Girlfriend's ordered work. Oh my God, Tommy, very cool, man. I mean, Tommy's got some time to kill there on that one. But congrats, brother. Very cool. Damn. A whole new adventure begins today for Tommy Newton and his lady. Very cool, man. Congrats. Four Eyes FPV says, why you getting rid of HD0? I just can't find anything that it does all that well for me. And for like freestyle, for racing, I think it's the answer. And but I don't race. So for freestyle, it doesn't necessarily make any sense because we don't really have VTXs that make any sense for it. You know, we've either got a massively heavy, unbelievably oversized, horrendously expensive 1 watt VTX that I'm just super not into, or we've got a bunch of 200 milliwatt VTXs, which I'm not really all that into either. On Tiny Whoops, it's interesting, but it's not enough better than analog for it to be worth it. Walk Snail is a much more intriguing solution for digital when it comes to Tiny Whoops. Yes, it's a much bigger weight penalty, 8 extra grams versus 4 extra grams, but the 8 extra grams comes with a huge increase in quality. And yeah, like the HD0 quality is just so similar to analog that I would rather fly 4 grams lighter and run analog and just, you know, figure out the best possible analog camera. I've already got the True RC singularity antennas, so the connection is pretty good, and away you go. There's an AOS Cine 25, friends. That is what the build looks like when it's properly put together. And yeah, that gap that I had on the front standoffs is gone now that I've cranked these down. So that's awesome. Let's get a weight. I think it's 58 grams. Somebody weighed theirs for me. But let's check it. So this is like without motor screws, and I mean, this is like a super, super, super dry frame only. Whoa, why is that so heavy? 67.7. Yikes. I'm gonna have trouble keeping this one under 250. Why is this so heavy? Interesting. Okay. Well, okay. The QAVS Cine. Let's take a look at the QAV Cine. I think there's a weight on GetFPV's website. QAV. Cine. Okay, so where is it? I cannot believe that all of these FPV websites have pop-ups. It just makes me want to scream. Here it is, QAV Pro, not Cine. QAV Pro. Used to be called Cine. So this is not the exact same frame. This is the newer version of it, but the main changes are that they've gone from standard north, south, east, west carbon to quasi-carbon on these base plates. Quasi-carbon is no heavier, though, so should not have changed the weight at all. Yeah, 53 grams. Okay, so... All right, well, that's interesting. I am glad that I'm going to be running smaller motors on this. So the plan, the QAV Pro, I guess now it's called, I built it with Zing 1504 3900 kV motors, which are, like, Zing motors are always heavier than everybody else's motors, and then these are 1504s versus 1404s. I did that for the maximum amount of cooling possible from those motors, and I also wanted the extra grunt. On this rig, the problem with those motors, though, is that they're only 3900 kV. On this rig, my plan was to run nice lightweight 1404s that are 4500 kV. That's why there's been a whole row of 1404s sitting on this desk for the last, like, week or so. Well, so let's take a look. We'll bust the scale back out and we'll figure out exactly how much weight that I need to save. And we'll look at, I have both of those motors out here. Okay, so why did Discord just, what is this? Oh, this is the stupid Logitech software. Okay. Okay, so 53 grams for the QAV Cine. Oh my God. And then the AOS 25 is 67. So 67.7, call it 68. So there's a 15 gram difference there. And I'll bet you the motors will make up for that. So here's a 1504. 1504 is 10.3 grams. Somebody type that into chat. Actually, just multiply it out. Multiply 10.3 times 4 for me. That's the total motor weight. And then my two motor options are going to be the Axis 1404. And the Axis 1404 is 4510 kV. That is an 8.3 gram motor. So somebody multiply that by 4 for me. 8.3. Or the T-Motor 1404, which is 4600 kV. And it is, hey, 8.1 grams. So that's 30. So somebody multiply out 8.1 by 4 for me. So I think I'll be okay. I think just the motors will. So what is it again? 8.1 versus. Not quite. 8.1 versus 10.3. So I won't quite get there with the motors. Where else can I shave weight? I can shave weight by running not a full-size Immortal T. At that point, what I would do is just go to Express LRS, maybe. I can save weight by not having these TPU front little bumpers on there, but I'm hoping that somebody makes those bumpers for this, because I would, if I slam into somebody, I would really rather it be these TPU bumpers than just raw carbon. I don't know if there's anywhere else that I can... Well, I can save a gram or two by not doing a 20 by 20 stack and going to an AIO, but I would really rather not. This rig does have these little rubber feet, and rubber is very heavy. OMFPV says same props, both rigs. Probably not, since this is going to be a smaller, higher KV motor. I'm planning on running a less pitchy propeller, and that will be lighter. A less pitchy prop will be lighter weight, so that'll save a couple fractions of a gram there. I have a feeling that I'll be able to get it done. I'll have a feeling. I've got a feeling I'll be able to get the weight down enough. Ram Donko, 41.2 first motor, 33.2 second motor. Okay, so almost 10 grams. Almost 10 grams difference. Metal Dirtskin with a good idea. Run shorter screws on all those standoffs. I could certainly do that. These screws are a little bit long. Here's the thing. When I run M2 screws, I always run them a little bit long because they just love stripping out. I would really only want to do like 1 less millimeter on these screws. And that's not going to make a whole hell of a lot of difference. I'm going to build it up, and we'll take a look at what it weighs all said and done. OMFPV says titanium screws. It's another option. I do have some M2 titanium screws floating around. I could certainly do that. Looks like they give you 2 extra standoffs and 1 extra of the long screws up on top, and then 2 extra of the shorter socket screws. That's pretty cool. And all of the standoffs and screws come in this nice little bag that says Cine 2503. So that's a perfect little spot to throw your extra hardware. And then this goes in your flight bag, because this is just a super slick little infinitely small package of extra standoffs and screws for this specific rig. So yeah. Metal Dirtson says, the only place I've ever seen titanium screws is Omegod's website, and he's been out of them for ages. M2 screws specifically. Yeah, there are websites that sell TI M2 screws, but they're really expensive. Like really expensive. I have a bunch of them because the old Brother Hobby VY motors used to come with M2 by 7 and M2 by 6 titanium screws. I'm at the moment using them on the Cinesplores, but the Cinesplores are so fat that it's kind of stupid to have them on there, so I'll probably move those M2 screws over to this and the other rig, if I remember. But yeah, I think we'll be okay with this. I think I'll be able to get the weight for this guy down to where this one was, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. June Loco's in the house. What's up, dude? WeBleed says, hey, CiottiFPV, you have a package coming, shipped yesterday, nothing over the top. Gangly gang, oh, hello, happy hump day, WeBleed. Thank you so much, Zotek. That's very cool of you. I can't wait to see what it is. WeBleed's, I mentioned earlier, WeBleed's, let's fly a battery. Let's fly a Tiny Whoop battery. What do you say? We got this built, we weighed it up. We'll fly a couple of batteries here on the big boy motors, and then maybe I'll take a little break and we'll throw the AOS 35 together. And yeah, that would be kind of fun. I want to show you guys this WeBleed FPV LED lit up gate. Usually the LED gates are either made of like solid materials that are just gonna wreck your shit, or they're more of like a DIY kind of thing. Zotek sent me this gate a while ago. I'm embarrassed how long it took me to put this together, but I've had a lot of stuff going on. But I finally got it together, and I'm kicking myself for not doing it sooner. So it's the WeBleed FPV Ultimate LED Whoop Gate package. And, oh wait, hold on. Is this it? It might be this one. It's this one down here. It's the WeBleed FPV Ultimate LED Cube system. Yeah. This is it. Yep, this is the package that he sent me. So I built it a little bit differently. He's got everything in here to build it as a cube, which is very cool. And I'm gonna build it like a cube. But before I looked at this picture, and when I was just like piecing it together, I couldn't quite figure out how to do it. I didn't understand that this little extension cord needs to go across the middle. And that's just me being a dullard. But right now I've got it set up as like a little X, which is kind of cool because you can do little loops of it. So yeah, let me show you how to do it without that little extension cord. I found that extension cord a little bit too late, basically, in the process of building this thing, which is just completely my fault. All I had to do was go on the website and look at a picture of it. But yeah, these gates are super cool, and they've got about 1 million different modes that you can run them in, which is really slick. There's a little controller with 3 little buttons on it, and you just push the buttons over and over and over again, and yeah, it's really slick. So let me show you guys that. But yeah, here it is. You'll see how I have it set up. And if you're gonna get this, I do have a oh, look at that, non-LED setup. I do have a affiliate link to WeBleed FPV. It's over on CiottiFPV.com. So if you don't mind, hit that to make sure Zotek knows that I sent you. All right, we're gonna put fresh batteries through these rigs. Let's fly the 802 rig first, because I'm much more familiar with these 802 30,000 kV motors. And then, so I think what I'll do is put 2 batteries through the 802 rig. That'll kind of get me dialed in on those 802 motors, hopefully. And then I'll put this 603 prototype motored rig up in the air, and we'll take a look if I can feel a difference. They so far they seem to be pretty much the same. CV says you do not want to test that folding prop theory. I've had 2-inch folding props lacerate the hell of my finger. Really? Okay, good to know. Thank you, Steve. That is exactly what I want to know. Cold Front and Penguin says just flying low to the ground in general. Is that RC smoothing related, or are my rates too high, jitter reduction related, etc., etc.? Cold Front and Penguin, RC smoothing is actually going to make the situation worse, because the smoothing that it's adding is also adding delay. RC smoothing and just stick smoothing in general doesn't really help out with the throttle. It doesn't really do anything to the throttle. It smooths out pitch, roll, and yaw, mainly. So these are the 802 30,000s. And yeah, so I have it set up like a little X here. Or a plus. And then I have all of the wires going to the middle here. And then the little power supply is just over here. You can also just run this off of an XT30, any old battery. Just keep in mind it's going to pull the battery down pretty aggressively. I mean, LEDs don't draw a lot, but there's a lot of LEDs going on in here, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, cool little setup there. So let me just boogie around a little bit. Oh, almost. Ah, it was so close. See what I can get going here. Ah, what's happening? No, no, no. Don't. Where even is it? Where is it? What is that? What am I looking at? What's happening? Oh! Ah! We good. I strategically set this up here so that I can try to do the mega power loops. Let's see. WeBleed LED gate mega power loop. Oh, on the second try, yo. Oh boy. And then a terrible one. Yo. Yeah, that mega power loop is something else. Let's try it one more time. Nope. Didn't get quite enough height on that one. One more try. We can get it this time. We got this. Oh, got through the first, but hit the second. All right, so yeah, just doing trying to use maximum throttle as much as I kind of can here to sort of get locked in. Wow, I did not mean to do that. Trying to get a feel for like the throttle resolution as well. Look at that, yo! Come on now. Can't tell me that's not cool. You can tell me whatever you want, but you'll be lying if you say it's not cool. Alright, newbie drone gates. 9, 8, 7. Oh my god, I did not mean to dump down through that. That was pretty cool. 5, 4, ah, hit the side of it. Come on now, little fella. Come on. Be cool. Be cool. What is it?
3.
Why? Did it throw a propeller? What? What?
2.
Why? Don't make me walk. I don't want to walk. I'm not here to walk. It appears to be the right rear motor that's having some issues. The motor came unplugged. How the hell did that happen? In what world can one of these motors come unplugged? That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Okay. Not bad runtime, 2 minutes and 40.
1.
Whoa, okay. Let's try a big one. Oh, that was close, yo. So these 802 30,000s. Oh, by the way, this is on the new GemFan 1208 propellers. I'm gonna bring it home. This is on the GemFan 1208 propellers. Maximum G-force 5G. Hey, did you guys watch the? How many of you guys watched the Rotor Riot video and were just screaming at the screen? The ending OSD stats will tell you your maximum G. Was that just me? Was I the only one that was screaming at Joshua and Bubby and what's his face? Probably just me. Okay, so one more battery on the 802s. Just trying to get like acclimated to them and get used to them so that I can hopefully feel a difference between these and the 603s. So this is the ultimate freestyle tiny whoop. It's basically just a Mobula7 ELRS with a motor swap. It does also have a true RC singularity antenna in it. The propellers I'm running are the brand new GemFan 1208 tri-blades. This rig flies great on the bi-blades, but if you're gonna carry the extra weight of these motors, you might as well take advantage of the extra stator volume by running a more pitchy propeller. I don't love the way these... I really prefer the way that the bi-blades perform. Jesus Christ! It's becoming obvious that I am getting better at flying these tiny whoops. I am getting better at stuff like that. Like, I used to not be able to do that coffee table power loop at all. And now I can do it, like, really close to the table. And, like, almost reliably. So that's kind of cool. It's cool to feel myself improving. Because, like, one of the real annoying things about, like, getting good at stuff, getting, like, properly good at stuff, is that the big gains are gone. Like, when you're your first year or two doing something, you're going to get a lot better. Like, the gains are going to be... The gains in your performance are going to be big. Well, the better you get, the smaller the gains are. Oh my god, I went through the first, but not the second. And that can get a little annoying. Like, that can get kind of frustrating, right? Because, like, you've gotten used to... you've gotten used to, like, big improvements. And then... The quad is, like a foot away from me, and I just refuse to retrieve it. There's just something so satisfying about a bit... Oh boy, I almost caught that lamp. A big old off-throttle throw that just happens to go exactly through the gate that you want it to go through. These are not... I'm trying to do Matty flips, but I'm getting on the throttle too late. So yeah, these are not Matty flips yet. God damn it, come on. There we go. I will get a Matty flip though. Oh my god, I just slammed it into the ceiling. Oh, Christ. Nope, I'm getting on the throttle too late. What am I doing? If you get on the throttle too late, you don't generate any rearward thrust, and it just catches it, and you've just basically done a front flip. There it is. That's the problem with getting on the throttle earlier, is that you're sometimes spilling thrust downwards, so it will pull you down into the ground, and you'll go slamming into the ground. Let's get one more shot. What helps is if you can throw it up into the move. If you throw it up into the gate, it gives you more time. There we go. All right, nope, that battery's getting real low. These are the fresh batteries. I don't want to jack them up. Let me do one more. I really want to get used to this 802 30,000 rig before I switch over to 603. So let's do one more real quick here. I'll really jam on this battery. I'm gonna go upstairs real quick, and we'll blast around. So yeah, cold front and penguin. What you need to have less elevation bounce down towards the ground is either just more stick time, just more practice with throttle resolution, and if you really want to get good, all you do is you just fly low to the ground. When you're flying low to the ground, that is when you can notice the changes in your elevation the most. So the best way to practice, go figure, the best way to practice flying low to the ground is to fly low to the ground. And you're going to crash a lot, but that's okay. That means you're learning. The other thing that's going to help is throttle expo. And we've talked about that a good amount here. Let me check for Duke. All right, there's no Duke. We're good. Yeah, is throttle expo. Set your throttle expo at a value of like 3 or 4, and then you got to get your midpoint dialed in. So you got to put in your OSD, you got to have your you got to have your throttle value, and then as you're cruising around, like pick the speed that you normally cruise around. Off on the right side of my screen, you see a 38, 39, 42, 38. That's your throttle value. That's what you want to put as your midpoint, as your throttle expo midpoint. Whatever the throttle value is that you cruise around at the most. And it's going to change a little bit. You know, like now it's 40, now it's 42. As I speed up a little bit, if I slow down a little bit, it's going to come down. Well, the battery is sagging, so now it's going up. But yeah, that's how you figure out your... Oh, shit. That's how you figure out your throttle expo midpoint. And the throttle expo midpoint is really, really, really important. If that's not set properly, throttle expo will actually make the situation even worse. So the best thing to do is just to pound stick time. But in the interim, you can add some... throttle expo, as long as you get that midpoint set properly. All right, quickly, we're going to switch to the 603 rig. Pretty low runtime because I was up hammering the throttle quite a bit on that battery. All right, 603 30,000 kV rig, pretty much identical. Let's see how it is. Same 1208 propellers. Hold on. Let me check up tilt between these two, because if the up tilt is different, it's gonna really screw me up. And it is. I'm glad I checked it. I need to pull the up tilt down a little bit on this rig. There we go. That's about right. As close as I can get it, at least. All right, 603s. All right, battery is down a little bit. Let's go upstairs. man. Oh, shit. I think that these are making more power. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I'm in a rough spot here. I'm in a bit of a pickle. This thing is going to be covered in cobwebs. Oh, slam. What I'm pretty sure I can tell is that there's a difference in response time. Even if they have the same amount of raw power, these 603 motors, because the bell is less wide. Hi, baby. Hello! There's more... There's a slightly quicker response time to these motors. And that's the same kind of thing as like 2207s compared to 2306. When we look at thrust stand data, namely Chris Rosser's, because he's really the only one that's done response time in those that testing. Yeah, these motors, this might be magic, man. I like these a lot. There's like that, they feel more similar to 702s. Oh my God, is that satisfying? In like the lightness, which makes sense because they are lighter. But then they seem to have every bit of the power of the 802s, which is kind of the dream, yo. I cannot tell a difference in raw power. Can you guys see a difference? I can't possibly imagine that you can. But yeah, I cannot tell a noticeable difference in raw power between these and the 802 EXs. But what I think I can tell is that, yeah, these are just a little more responsive. Like, they wind up a little bit faster. Oh, wait, let's try the mega power loop. The battery's kind of low, but... Oh, man, it gets there easy. See if I can get it lined up this time. Oh, not quite, and it's flashing low battery at me. Man, it feels good even with the battery down low like that. So I'm pretty sure that I like these 603 30,000s more than the 802 30,000s. Definitely from a durability standpoint, these 603s are going to be... I mean, here's the long and short of it. These 603s are going to be more durable than the Hex 802s. They're lighter, and as far as I can tell, they don't make any less power. That's it. Like there's no... I mean, I guess maybe the 802... Because the 802s do have more stator volume. So mathematically, maybe the 802s are making more power. But they're not making that much more power. And I'll take all the other things that the 603s are giving me over the 802s. So yeah, I don't really know if I need to test this more, because these are just better. Sorry for all the hardcore 802 people, but this is a big deal, man. This is a more durable motor that pretty much makes the same amount of power as the 802 30s. And, like, what else do you want? You know? More durability, same power, better response time, which is going to make the PID loop work better. Yeah, man. Tiny Whoop 603 30,000 kV motors. I'm pretty sure that Jesse will make these after this testing. These are total prototypes, like complete one-offs. just to see if it works. I'm gonna message. I've been waiting to message him, but yeah, I'm absolutely gonna message him now and be like, "Yo, if you make those 603 30,000s, I want a set for sure. They're better than the 802s on these 65 mil rigs. You know, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting to see the difference on, and it would actually bring the different. It would show the difference more. Would be to put these on a 75 mil motor-to-motor rig, and to test that, because that has a potential of having a bigger difference, and that's pretty cool. So, all right, I think I'm done with the 603 versus 802 testing. At this point, I want to test more of these crazy. All right, so chat here. I'm gonna do a quick poll. Hurry up and answer this poll. Start a poll. What should we do? And then the first answer is assemble AOS and weigh AOS 35. Second option is 0702 testing. There's the poll. Hurry up and answer that poll to see what we do next. I'm going to take a guess that you guys want to see 702 testing, so I'm going to start removing screws on the Tiny Whoop. But yeah, if you'd rather see me do... Stevie says, BiBlade only on the 603s, even up here in the Rockies? Absolutely not. The 603s were great on the BiBlades, but they're great on these 1208 tri-blades as well. So yeah, no need to stick with only BiBlades on the 702s, 603s, sorry. 702s, yes, BiBlades only. But 603s have significantly more power, and they don't really seem to be getting hot, so yeah. Although I'm not really checking that, if I'm honest. But, alright, it looks like you guys want me to do 702 testing. That's great, because that's already what I'm kind of working on here. So, cool. Athix says, do you like those motors 90% more? Not 90%. Cold Front and Penguin says, thanks, I'll try that next time I fly. Also, what's your opinion on the Snowblower 25,000 kV motors? Those are almost certainly the perfect motors for that Mobula7 ELRS. You're probably going to need to motor limit them down a little bit, but that's a really good thing. Using a little bit of motor limiting is awesome, because if you fly a bigger spot, you can crank them up to 100%, or smaller spots you can motor limit them down. So yeah, I would always rather have a motor that's a little bit too high of a kV that you motor limit down a little bit, than a motor that's too low of a kV that you can't, right? You can't motor limit in the positive direction. You can only motor limit downwards. So it makes a lot of sense to have a motor that has too much kV. So yeah, the snowblowers are probably the best motor for a Mobula7 ELRS that's in stock at the moment, because they have a good amount of, they have the 1.5 millimeter shaft, so you can bang the shit out of that rig. Bounce it off jungle gyms and whatnot is my favorite thing to do with those at the moment. But it's also, it's a nice and lightweight motor, so you're not making it any heavier like we were doing with the 1002s and the 1102s previously. And yeah, and it's enough kV to really kind of wake it up, so to speak, on the GemFan BiBlades. So yeah, 802 snowblower, or at some point the iGao blue 802 27,000 kV motors will be back in stock, and those are a great choice too. Those are currently what I'm running on my jungle gym bashing 75 millimeter rig, which is just basically a Mobula7 ELRS. Michael Blade says, wacky Wednesday. All right, so yeah, the poll's over. 70-30. Thanks, guys. Left Step says, now grab a stock fellow with 19,000 kV and tell us what you feel. Yeah, I've revisited low kV a bunch of times in the last couple of months, and it's, you know, it's not as bad as it just... as long as you fly it for what it is. Like if you fly the low KV stuff low to the ground and you use that extra throttle resolution, it's fun. You can't do a lot of the stuff that I want to do, but it allows you to fly differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's cool. And I kind of dig that. But yeah, you can't try to do the off throttle momentum throw stuff. It just doesn't work. Let's go. This is the Ghostly rig. I'm going to put the Ghostly motors back on it, and then we'll put the prototypes on that other rig. All right, Ghostly motors going back on. I have this thing set up for props in. I lazily left the propellers on these motors, so makes it a little bit harder to mount them up, but we'll be all right. Take 3 whole extra seconds. Ah, come on now. Make that 5 extra seconds. There we go. All right. Cool. Caught up on chat. Flush FPV says lower KV is harder to turtle. It is indeed. I mean, the big thing, in my opinion, is just that motor limiting works really well. And we should all be using it. So the whole like lower KV motor thing, I would rather run a 30,000 KV motor and motor limit it down like 60% if you wanted that. And I mean, admittedly, at that point, you would be sacrificing a little efficiency. If you're motor limiting down to like 60%, anything below 70%, and you are going to lose a little bit of efficiency. But like, who cares, yo? Tiny Whoop batteries are so cheap that just buy a couple extras and then you've got like the ultimate do everything rig, right? You can motor limit it way down, or you can crank it up and fly it in big spots, and yeah, life is good. Hold on, there's a hair that's wrapped around the bottom of the motor, and I don't like when they're wrapped around the bottom, because that's when they can actually have a little bit of a negative effect. And I am glad that I'm doing this, because this was wrapped around there a whole bunch of times. All right, there we go. Props out. Okay. All right, so this is the 32,000 kV rig. I'm kind of putting it back together. This is the Ghostly rig that we built a while back. Clear frame, clear canopy, light blue Moon Traveler 0702 32,000 kV motors. June Loco says, practice trippy spins indoors with me. I don't like trippy spins. I don't like the way they look. I don't like... It's mainly that. I don't like the way they look. They're just not my thing. So, and I'm also not good at them. Because I don't like the way that they look, I don't practice them. I can do them. I mean, like the stick command, it's just a tail in orbit. So it's instead of coordinating your sticks for a nose in orbit, you're cross coordinating your sticks. But yeah, it's just they're not my thing. They're not my thing. People that can do them like amaze me, and it's awesome. Especially like people that can do them really, that can just like turn it on like a light switch, because yeah, that's tough to do. It usually takes like a couple revolutions. Most people, it usually takes a couple revolutions to get it dialed in. There are some folks that can just do it immediately and just dive right in and be locked on, and that's super cool. But yeah, I'll never get to that point because I think they look stupid and they just like make me dizzy. So I'll never put enough time into them to actually lock them in. It's not a movement that you'll ever use in like any kind of a cinematic setting. So like, I'm out, right? Like the stuff that I want to practice is the stuff that I want to do for a living, which is flying cinematic. So yeah, I'm not going to spend my time working stuff that I'm never going to use, just for the sort of freestyle glory of it, because that's, you know, that's not what I'm not trying to be a full-time freestyle pilot. I'm trying to be a full-time cinematic pilot. So I'm going to spend all my time on that part of FPV. So yeah, there's my list of excuses. What are your guys' excuses for not learning trippy spins? Easiest excuse is they're just too goddamn difficult. And they are. They are kind of like needlessly difficult. So I got a wire on here that's trying to exit stage left. I'm going to need to resolder this at some point. Yeah, it looks like about half the strands are missing, so that's going to let go at some point. But that's all right, I'll fix it. Check the rest of these. Yeah, the rest of these are fine. I mean, I might be able to... Let me try to fix this real quick, like, before it lets all the way go. I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of solder to this joint. Just so that it doesn't let go in, like, God forbid, a spot that's unrecoverable. All right, real quick, like, I'm just going to put a little bit of extra solder here, and hopefully it won't, hopefully the whole solder joint won't liquefy and fall off, but there's a good chance that it will. All right, soldering iron is not up to temperature yet. 480, 490, 500, 514, 520, 530, 540, 550, 559, 570, 580. All right, that's hot enough. It'll keep going up to 700, but let's see here. Shit, joint let go. I knew that was going to happen. All right, so we're gonna remove this wire and then we're gonna resolder it down. Hopefully, because it moved enough where it's not even on the pad anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna take this wire up like this, and I'm just basically gonna re-tin it, but I'm gonna really tin it, so that there's a bunch of solder up here by the insulation, and that's going to make the wires ever so slightly more strong in that spot. And so now I'm just going to bring this guy back down. I know you guys can't really see me doing this, but I'm just knocking this out real quick from like a maintenance standpoint. And there we go. Cool. Now that'll last significantly longer than it would have the way that it was a minute ago. Maybe. Let me take a quick look here, though. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, little quick repair there as preventative maintenance. Let me take one last look, though. Wait, no, that's not the motor. It's this one. Oh, yeah, there we go. So let me explain to you what just happened. You've got these little 30 gauge wires have 8 individual strands on the inside. And if you, when you flex them, one strand will break, another strand will break, another strand will break. And then eventually, like in this case, it looked like I had about 4 individual strands left. So what I did is I removed the wire. I didn't want to, but I removed the wire. I re-tinned the entire area so that the individual strands will break between the silicone and the solder joint. So what I did is I re-tinned that entire area, and I got the solder all the way up. Imagine these bracelets are the silicone. I got solder all the way up to this part of the silicone, and then when I resoldered the wire down to the pad, I moved the wire forward a little bit on the pad so that the blob of solder on the pad is now butting right up against the silicone, and that's going to be a much stronger joint because now it's going to bend in the silicone, and when it bends in the silicone, it makes a more round bend that doesn't break the individual strands of wire. When you have solder joint with solder and then strands and then silicone, it's going to bend at the strands, and it's going to break those strands eventually because they're willing to bend at a sharp angle. If you get the silicone right on top of the pad and the solder is completely encapsulating the individual strands of wire all the way up to the silicone, yeah, the wire will bend back here, and that silicone will do like a nice rounded bend. It won't do the sharp bend that the exposed strands will do. And so, yeah, you'll get a little bit more life out of it. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Great. Isn't that terrific? This has to go into Betaflight to get these motors spinning correctly. I feel like I might... What time is it? 7:51? I might fire this thing up on... I might compare these 702 32,000s to the 603 30,000s. Tri-blades versus bi-blades. That could be an interesting... I did not do that comparison on Monday's stream. So, or maybe I did. I think actually I did. All right, spin up the props. Motor 1 is correct. Motor 2 is incorrect. Motor 3 is incorrect. And that means motor 4 is going to be correct. And it is indeed. All right, stop motors, close. I understand the risks. Fire up the master. Prop 1 is right. Motor 1 rather is right. Motor 2 is right. Motor 3 is right. Motor 4 is right. RPMs are nice and even between all 4 motors. Good to go. All right. Yeah, let's test 702 32,000s versus 6 on bi-blades, on GemFan bi-blades versus 603 30s. I've made a mess with these batteries here. I got to see which batteries are charged, which ones are not. 367, 380. I think these guys are all charged. 438, 424. Why is that one only 424? That's weird. 435. Okay. And then there's a bunch of batteries on the charger actually that are fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Some of these batteries are not in great shape. Let me really quickly find the good ones. This is a good one. Fly that one first. This one is puffy and just ruined. This one's looking pretty decent. This one's this one got like slammed down here and it's all fat down here and it doesn't really fit in the... Ooh, this is a fresh one. All right, so we'll do these freshies first. Okay. So 702 32,000s first, and then we'll go directly to the 603 rig to see what we can learn here. This should feel significantly lighter, and but it should have less power than the 603 30s on the tries. So let's take a look.
Low battery.
Here we go. Oh God, I almost hit myself. I was worried it was coming for my hair. My God, these 702 32s are amazing. Oh, so that's interesting. That was not enough power. Man, it feels so much lighter. Oh! Still plenty of power. Oh! That's in the wall. That ain't going nowhere. I gotta go get it. It's funny, like, the situations that a tiny whoop will just absolutely not be able to get out of. In this case, it just fell right in the little right in the little corner there. There's just nothing you can do when it falls exactly like that. 802 definitely does not have better flight time. 603 will have better flight time than 802. 702 will have the best flight time of all. This PID tune is right on the limit. Oh boy. Let me check this out for a second here. Wow, the hover point... The hover point is significantly lower on this. Oh boy. I did not need to disarm there. Look at this PS5, yo. Look at this big, beautiful bastard. My dad is the greatest. My parents are the best, man. Oh, I tried to go through that one backwards. Didn't quite make it. Ah, I can't believe I hit that. That was insulting. So 702s. What can I say? I've never noticed the hover point being so significantly lower with these. Let me really quick check my my throttle expo. 36%. 36. 36. Oh god, I wasn't looking where I was going. Let me check it real quick. Rates. The amount of expo is 40, and then the midpoint is 40 as well. So let's come down to 38. I like to have the midpoint a little bit higher, so that if I choose to kind of fly a little bit faster, it's still kind of correct. See, now I'm cruising at 40, but oh, crash prevention almost was good to go there, with me still hitting that gap, but not quite. Stop it. Yeah, these this little WeBleed gate set, it's nice because it's the regular nylon material. So it doesn't beat your rig up. A lot of the other LED lit gates are like hard plastic, and like you're gonna break shit with that, man. You don't want that. Oh, I did not mean to come in for a landing that quickly, but you know, I'll take it. Okay, so that's the 702 32,000s. Now we're gonna go back to the 603 30,000s on tri-blades. And I'm going to try to use another somewhat fresh WeBleed FPV battery. Cold Front and Penguin says, can I use it for a 65mm? You cannot. The Mobula7 AIO will only work in that Mobula7 V4 frame. Okay. Smash right into it. Man, this feels poppy as hell. Yo, man, these motors are something. How is this possible? How? How? It's got so much power that it just flips over. Oh boy, there was a big correction at the last second there. Ah. And I would love to see these 603s in like mega KV for the GemFan biblades. Oh boy. Fuck yeah, yo. Oh. Oh, yo, that's cool looking. Firing up through that horizontal. Oh, okay. I think the newbie drone gates just got a new lot on life. Oh, farts. I mean, it's so cool flying through 4 gates in a row, but they are small enough that I have a really hard time getting through them accurately. Oh, oh God, what's happening? All right. Easy. Yo, these 603s are a real thing, man. I am really happy with these. I can't quite put my finger on it, but they feel right. And I know that's like the worst thing. Oh, damn! That was fucking amazing. Ugh. I'm still figuring that one. I'm still figuring that split S to dive down through these cube gates thing out. Yeah, these 603s are really good. This is a really good motor size. I'm super into this right now. Nothing wrong with the 702s, but I've been flying them for so long, I think, that this is like a new shiny thing, right? This is really cool. This is really, really cool. Let's go back to the 702s real quick. And then I think it'll be about time. Yeah, it's 8:01, so it's time to wrap this up. Super Deluxe is in chat. What's up, brother? Hold on. Northern Tier says, does it hurt to top off a Lipo? It does not. So you have one that's 4 volts. You want to top it off before you fly. Best flight time. Maybe a dumb question. Figure it out. Nope, doesn't hurt it at all. It's not great for it, but it doesn't hurt it at all. Super Deluxe says, how do you attach your gates to the ceiling? The Velcro things don't always work well on all surfaces. It is cable clips from Amazon. Use my Amazon affiliate link. Cable clips, and then there are these little soft round bastards. These black ones here, but I get the white ones so that they disappear in with the ceiling. But yeah, this is it. They're these little like soft rubber jibby jabbies. There they go. So don't get this kit because you don't need these multiples down here, but you can find them with white rubber cable clips. Maybe that. Yeah. Search for white rubber cable clips. This is what you want. Smee Life. There's a whole bunch of people. I mean, if you just click on one of these, it'll give you a bunch of different options. But yeah, these are what I use. They're brilliant. And if they ever rip off, you just replace them with VHB, and all is right with the world. All right, one more battery. 0702, 32,000 kV. Definitely lighter. Yeah, for sure. For sure, this is lighter. I mean, it's physically lighter, but you can also just feel it in the air that it's lighter, which is like really cool. Oh my god. It's so, it's so good. High KV 702s are magic in so many different ways. Ooh, getting down on them cymbals, trying to eat them. Oh, boy. Ah! Come on. There we go. Get you some. Oh! I really tried to lay it out and like wait until the absolute last second, and I paid for it. Let's get that right. Oh my god! 2 bad ones in a row. There we go. Kind of ugly, but I'll take it. Oh, shit. Different stools here. I guess the gap is on the bottom of these guys now. Do a little slide with it. Yeah, okay. Oh. All right, let's get back downstairs before this battery goes to hell. Oh! Oh, that was cool. Oh, that was not. Oh, ooh, Jesus Christ. That is not recoverable. I saw my life flash before my eyes on that one. Good Lord. TurboTax state return is accepted. Happy days are here at last. State return was $0. That was kind of cool. Oh no. All right, let's get another newbie drone trick in. Oh boy. We've landed on the vertical or the horizontal gate. Oh my goodness, it's so hot when you get it. Oh my god, I'm really loving that that horizontal gate. That's very, very cool. Ooh, shit, I think I went up through it, and then I think it hit here and bounced off, and then fell back down through it. That was slick. Ah, Jesus. I don't really know what else to say about the whole 702 versus 603 thing. I think that they're for two completely different people. That's not true. I think you just need to build one of each. I think the 603 setup is just for bigger power, bigger spots. And then the 702 rig is just for less power. Don't build two rigs. Just buy both sets of motors, I think, because they are drastically different, and you can just swap them on and off for different kind of scenarios. So yeah, I mean the 603s have very obviously make more power, even though they are a lower KV. Because 603 is significantly more stator volume than 702. And then, but you pay for that with a little bit of extra weight. But boy, oh boy, does it cover up the extra weight really well because of the extra power and the extra response time. That I don't think I really expected. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. I still need to put a little bit more time into the super secret prototype 702s that are higher than 32,000 kV to see how I like them. I wanted to try to do that tonight, but didn't quite get to it. Putting together that AOS 2.5 took forever. But yeah, there you go, man. I can't believe we're gonna potentially have another incredible motor option for these brushless tiny whoops. We are very, very lucky. Let me do this though. I have to know what the AOS Cine 35 weighs. And Chris doesn't have any of the weights on his website. So we're gonna weigh it with all of the standoffs. It might have extra standoffs, I don't know. We're gonna weigh it with all the screws. It might have extra screws, I don't know. And the weight of the plastic bags is gonna be in here as well, but that's probably inconsequential. So let's get this all balanced on this scale. The AOS Cine 35 is fat. Oh my God. That's 129 grams. That is a, oh boy, I'm not going to be able to get that under 250. 130 grams versus the AOS Cine 25. Wow, it weighs twice as much. Is 67.7 grams. Wow. Wow. Yeah, no chance getting this under 250, even without a battery, I don't think. That's okay. Still gonna build it. Wow, what a difference. Yikes. Everything is bigger, everything is thicker. That's what she said. The base plates, I think, are, or the I don't know what these are called, the hoop plates maybe, These are thicker carbon. They're much bigger, much bigger. I'm not holding this closer to the camera. I'm holding these exactly next to each other. This is so much bigger. And then this is M3 instead of M2 standoffs. That's significantly heavier there. And then the arms are significantly thicker here as well on the AOS 35. So yeah, this is not going to be what this might be. What this AOS 35 might be is the third rig that I bring. This is almost certainly what's going to happen. These two are going to be the mains to stay under 250. And then this is going to be what I bring to do Cinewoop stuff when I'm not flying over people. And God forbid both of these other rigs go down. I can put this one up in the air. Shh, don't tell anyone. But I could put this one up in the air. You know? Nobody has to know. But these two rigs will never both go down. You know what I mean? Like, losing one rig is real. Losing two rigs is not really going to happen. C-Drum says, what's up? Middle Dirtskin says, is that enough weight headroom to run bigger motors on the 2.5 to make it a little more usable? So that's what this is. This is going to be the 2.5 that has the bigger motors. 1504 motors. And I'm going to put a more pitchy propeller. I'm actually going to put a Cinewoop propeller on here because I think it's more pitchy. I got to test it though. But yeah, this is going to be the fatter, heavier rig. This is going to be the lighter weight rig. And then this is just going to be a Cinewoop that can, yeah, do other things. Wow, that's really heavy. I did not expect that. I did not expect it to be twice the weight. That's insane. That's fine though. Man, I was really hoping to be able to have this be ultra efficient with a 3.5-inch biblade and a tiny little motor. But at the weight that this thing is, that setup probably wouldn't work. This is probably going to be too heavy. I'll probably try it just for the sake of trying it, but it's not going to pick up a full-size GoPro with a 1404 motor. That shit ain't going to happen. So what this will probably end up on are is a 2004 or a 2104. I'll probably put this on the FPV Cycle 2104 that he made me in the custom KV. I think 3500 was the KV. Yeah. Well, hey, now we have weights on the AOS Cines. I kind of see why he didn't publish the weight, maybe. I don't think he did it maliciously, but the 35 is a very heavy frame. But hey, it's life sometimes. Sometimes frames are heavy, yo. Thanks for hanging, friends. Here comes a little bit of flying from Florida to send you off. Not good flying, but flying nonetheless. Just kind of some cruising. And yeah. Well, this is some Cinesploring actually. Yeah, here comes some Cinesploring for that ass. What do you think of that? That's the way it works. That's the way things work. What is this? Is this when the propellers exploded? This is when the propellers exploded. I don't need that battery. This is the one I want to play for you. Let me get you some royalty-free music that hopefully doesn't suck. And I'll see you guys again on Friday at 7 o'clock. Thanks for hanging, fellas. This is my full-time job. Please support me over at CiottiFPV.com. Patreon helps me out the most, but there's a million ways that you can support me over there, all of which I appreciate so much. Here comes some modern blues alternative. Hopefully it doesn't suck. Love you guys. Be good. See you Friday. CiottiFPV.com. Go!